there's always shoes that it's like, you know it's a once in a lifetime chance.
Right.
So I went to the University of Oregon and we had
I know what he's gonna say.
we had PEs of the Oregon LeBron 2s, and there was like 40 pairs of the white green, 40 pairs of the green white, and I'm a 13 and a half in that shoe, which is like impossible. And there was a set of both in one auction on eBay. So it was like $3,300 for both. I ate Reese's Puffs that whole month. I lent PJ Tucker that shoe to wear in pregame against the Blazers in Portland, and he still has them. Because
PJ, give the man his shoes back.
This was in like.
Don't you have enough? What's up, everybody? I'm Ashley Nicole Moss. This is Laces Out, presented by the NBA, and sitting next to me is not a baller, but he sure is dressed like one. Jarrell Harris in his Gucci jeans. Listen, what's going on with you lately?
I don't know, like, what can I say? You know, I like to keep things nice, but shout out to my guy Al, you know, keeping me laced.
Listen, Laces Out. He just winked at me, guys. Did you see? Whatever. Your swag is on a different level these days. But we are not alone. We got a full house. Very excited about our special guest. So everybody clap it up for Nick DePaula in the building. A bigger sneakerhead than you, so you got some competition on this stage right now.
He got it.
Nick, there's so much I want to get into with you, so let's just break it down. Give us a little bit about your history, how you got into the sneaker game, and how you made a living out of it.
Yeah, so I was a kid that had a $40 budget in middle school, elementary, 50 in high school, so I didn't have all the best shoes growing up. So I think like anybody, it becomes this aspirational thing, and I always joke I wanted to be in the NBA, like I'm sure all of us wanted to. And
I'm still waiting for my call.
I got dunked on when I was 15, and I knew that moment that it was not going to happen. I knew that was that, and so ever since that moment, I basically was like, well, how can I work around the game? And that's how everything shifted. And so, you know, when I was younger, Slam had the first ever sneaker magazine. It was Kicks magazine. KG was on the cover. I still wear a rubber band to this day, which KG was wearing on that cover as like a little tie back to that. And that was the first like light bulb where I was like, wow, maybe I could write about sneakers, and it just kind of went from there.
We got one more person to add to the mix. You know, it's not anybody that you haven't seen before, but I'm gonna introduce him to you anyway. Our producer extraordinaire, Dakota London's in the building. Clap it up for Dakota.
Great to have a special guest. Glad to have you, Nick. But we also have some congratulations to give out.
For what? What's going on here?
Well,
What's going on here?
in case you haven't heard,
Is Idris Elba here for me?
congratulations to Ashley. She is now a full-time member of the Sports Illustrated family.
There's more surprises in store, so I'm very excited. But it's not about me as much as I love when it is. What is the most you would actually spend for a pair of shoes that you really, really wanted? Like, let's say the Dior ones, for example, that are going for up to like $4,000, and that's lowballing it, okay? Because those are pricey. When I get married, they will be under my wedding dress. So if anybody wants to go ahead and send me a pair, size 5.5 in men's. But yeah, what's the most you've ever paid for a pair of shoes, or would you ever pay?
All right, so I'm wearing Gucci jeans today, all right? You know, but I am really, really, really cheap when it comes to sneakers. I'm really cheap, so I'm not going over $200.
What?
Like, I am
Over
not.
200?
Over 200.
There's a lot of launches. You can't even buy Yeezys.
I'm not going over.
You can't even buy socks.
I'm gonna make something happen.
$100.
I'm gonna make something happen. But
Okay.
Is
yeah,
that
that's my
200
limit.
plus taxes and fees?
Yeah. I think I paid for my Black Cement 3s like $225. So that's like my all-time like
splurged.
dream sneaker. So I splurged.
Okay.
That's
He's
a
feeling
splurge.
risky, guys. $225 after taxes.
So I'm not spending more than that. That's just me though.
Dakota, I know your answer's pretty wild, so go ahead. And your wife is watching, so be careful.
Which is why my answer is funny. I would say I would pay $700. $700 is the furthest I will go. The furthest I will go, and it's also because she told me the furthest I could go was $700.
Nick, how much you spending?
So I definitely spend a lot on a lot of shoes that is an outrageous amount, but there's always shoes that it's like, you know it's a once in a lifetime chance.
Right.
So I went to the University of Oregon and we had
I know what he's gonna say.
we had PEs of the Oregon LeBron 2s, and there was like 40 pairs of the white green, 40 pairs of the green white. And I'm a 13 and a half in that shoe, which is like impossible. And there was a set of both in one auction on eBay. So it was like $3,300 for both. I ate Reese's Puffs that whole month.
And
Because I had
ramen.
just graduated college, so I'm like, that was my paycheck for the whole month at the time. I was with the magazine, I was just starting out. And that to me was like one of my all-time favorite basketball shoes, favorite shoes.
Yeah.
Obviously, like LeBron's 4 months older than me, so I was following him the whole way. And it was like the rarest of rare Oregons. I lent PJ Tucker that shoe to wear in pregame against the Blazers in Portland, and he still has them. Because
PJ, give the man his shoes back.
This was in like,
Don't you have enough?
it was either January or February of 2020. And I haven't seen him in person since because everything shut down.
This is where men and women differ, because I feel like women have so many things that they can choose from that are that expensive, like in the $1,000+ range. Like I'm thinking $3,300, I can buy a Chanel bag for that much, you know? And I've always wanted a black quilted Chanel. So for me, I think $500 is the most I would spend. And like that's even pushing it, because I know my parents are probably watching this like, oh, you got $500 to blow on sneakers like that? Bet, okay. Adding that. So it would have to be something really spectacular, because I'm thinking like $1,000+. Like I can go into Louis, I can go into Chanel, Prada, like.
And Chanel, doesn't that increase in value?
For
over
real.
time?
Another what? 5 G's for what he spent. I can go ahead and get a Birkin and make a profit. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the picture that went viral on Twitter of the girl who actually copped a pair of Fragments, and she's sitting and she's creasing her shoes, okay, in the mirror with a pose. So I think that poses the question, the tale as old as time. Sneakers, do you wear them or do you preserve them?
You wear them. That's the thing. Like, you can't walk like a duck, though.
I will walk like a duck.
But please wear your kicks.
No, will not crease them. I refuse.
It's
No.
not
horrible.
even just that.
No.
Bro, when we travel,
It's not gonna do it.
when we travel, if she's wearing any of her ones, I know we're gonna be late.
Yep.
Oh my
We're gonna be late.
I'm walking real slow because I will not crease my babies. I refuse to do it. Listen, shout out to you and Ambush, first of all. Incredible shoe, by the way. I wasn't gonna wear these here. I put them in my bag and I wore my Yeezys over because I will not crease my shoes. I refuse to do it. I don't like the way they look.
When I knew it got serious was when I put a pair of sandals or a Presto in my car so I didn't have driver's heel. I would always
got
switch
you.
out. Then I was like, that's not that serious. Because
Yeah.
I never buy stuff to like sit on it and hope the value increases.
Yeah.
Like I just want to wear it.
Yeah.
So when I bought those Oregon LeBron 2s, I wore them like right away.
Have you ever did the plastic bag over the sneaker?
No. That's the
Really?
one. Yeah, living in
never-
Oregon, I will
never
say
done-
is tough because it
Yeah.
rains so much, but you also never know when it's gonna rain. Like it could be sunny that morning, crazy that afternoon. But yeah, you gotta wear them.
I agree with you to an extent. I will wear them, but at the same time, like I'll do the duck walk. It is what it is.
my
Like
God.
I have
Instead of
on,
the plug walk,
I got
it's
the
duck
shadow
walk.
ones on now. Y'all should have seen me walking to the train. And I ran into people that I know that live in my area, and they were looking at me. It's like, is he injured? Why is he walking like that? No creases.
There's beauty in some old kicks, though. So just wear them.
Nah,
There's beauty.
Do you think though that it takes away from the beauty of a shoe? I hear what you're saying, that there's something, nostalgic about a shoe that's kind of been worn in, and it shows that you've lived in them and they have a story to tell. But I mean, I feel like now with what you have to go through, especially to get certain shoes, like, do you even really want to go ahead and damage them in the slightest way?
I'm wearing them that much more.
Yeah.
right. If I spent $3,300, I'm getting
No, I'm
every
I'm
ounce
just
of
not
it.
walking fast.
50 bucks a step. No.
Right.
There's a new wave of ballers on the horizon in the NBA, and they are swaggier, flashier, and cooler than ever before. But what can we expect from this new draft class, guys?
To me, it's one of the most exciting drafts in probably a decade. Not only on the court, but off the court. So you've got Cade Cunningham, signed with Nike. He was the top pick, of course, in Detroit. And then Jalen Green, who I think has a ton of star potential. We saw his Balmain suit at the draft, and
Love it.
I mean, he's talking to guys mid-game. He's trying to cross everybody and embarrass everybody, and he's going to be a guy that really switches it up game to game. So I think both of those guys will be the stars, and Adidas, to me, had the best class. They got Jalen Green, but also they got Jalen Suggs, which was kind of a surprise.
Now, I definitely agree with Jalen Green. I think he's going to be a superstar, and he's definitely going to have like a signature kick like one day.
Yeah, signature hair already. Sensational.
that
Pantene,
is
sign
true.
my boy, please.
But like Adidas needs someone like that, like someone that young. Like we have Donovan Mitchell, we have James Harden, you have Damian Lillard, but someone like Jalen, he's gonna take it to another notch. So.
No, for sure. I think this was a huge draft for Adidas. Like we mentioned, I think in previous drafts they've always kind of lost out to the GOAT, Nike, and this one was huge. And I think it also speaks to where Adidas is going as a brand. They're very fashion forward, and a lot of that has to do with Yeezy. It's really starting to merge the lines of fashion and performance like never before, and it's gonna be cool.
I think Adidas got Jalen right at the right time with like Jerry Lorenzo coming in as well with Fear of God. So that's like a match made in heaven right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bridge between the Yeezy, category, the impacts it had, and now having Jerry over basketball. I mean, for a lot of the players signing there, that was a huge factor.
Yep.
And also the ability to, maybe make your mark a little faster than you would if you were at Nike, which has almost 70% of the league. So, it's a little less crowded at Adidas, and these young guns feel like they can make their mark a little sooner.
Now it's time for a little segment we like to call That's Game, everybody's favorite, presented by the NBA. And just in case you need the rules one more time, our boy Dakota has them for you. So Dakota, lay down the law.
I give you 3 topics. You each get 30 seconds to state your case one way or the other for whatever you believe. And then the winner 2 out of 3 wins said segment. Since there's 3 of you, if there is a tie, I do have a tiebreaker that will decide the ultimate winner. Okay, so first topic. Nick, you can go first. Best sneaker commercial.
Oh, man. I mean, the Nike Freestyle one, early 2000s, was amazing because that just brought everybody's handles to it. But my personal favorite is the LeBron pool commercial. It had LeBron in multiple characters. The music was amazing, Cool in the Gang. And then there was like these great shameless shoe shots of the shoe, which at the time you don't think anything of it, but that was to me like one of the all-time greatest sneaker commercials. And even looking back on it now, like LeBron's acting in there, that might be his best. I mean, not to say Space Jam wasn't great, but that might have been his best acting job was in that pool commercial for the LeBron Force.
Shots fired.
Yep. So there's a lot. Like I really love commercials, but I'm gonna go with Little Penny. Like Penny Hardaway was a rising superstar, but he was very quiet, so he needed an alter ego. And then they picked Chris Rock out of everyone.
Chris Rock is hilarious.
Those commercials were iconic and legendary. And I grew up loving Penny because of those commercials, so that's my pick.
Okay. Ash?
All right, one of my favorites is the Allen Iverson commercial with Jadakiss for the A5. Thought it was incredible, but I'm actually gonna have to go with the Kobe Bryant System commercial with Kanye West, where he goes, "But can you be the same animal and a different beast?" And Kanye goes, "What the F are you talking about, Kobe Bryant?" I just think it was an ode to Kobe's just very dry sense of humor, but he was hilarious in all of it. And I just think the combination of 2 guys who seem to be very reserved and very quiet and not have a sense of humor, and see them in that comedic just repertoire, was actually just brilliant. And I loved everything about that commercial. And I've used that line to this day.
Those are some really good picks. I'm gonna go with LeBron though.
Ooh.
That LeBron commercial was still really funny.
But you're a big time LeBron fan.
Oh yeah, I'm
That's
biased.
why. That's why. So you're biased.
I'm super biased.
So.
Topic 2. Queen of Kicks. Gerard, you can go first.
Oh wow. I'm gonna go with a player. I'm gonna go with Sue Bird. She gets a lot of the sneakers early. She showed off the Air Jordan Off-White, the 2s early on. She was part of Kyrie's Keep Sue Fresh program, so I'm going with Sue.
Ash?
I'm actually gonna take it into music, and I'm gonna go with the bad girl Riri herself, because I think that Rihanna has mastered, and whatever she wears, everybody wants. And I think she's also mastered the way of combining high fashion with street fashion. And I think whenever she wears something, whether you think it looks good or not, you copy it. And now that she's with ASAP, I'm just looking forward to those couple pics. They're around New York at this very moment. I've been trying to find them. No luck as of yet, but I'm going to keep trying. She's brilliant in everything that she does, and if she wears it, I want it. Simple as that.
Okay. Nick?
This is a tough one. I love Sue Bird as well. Aleli May with Jordan Brand has done some great storytelling, but I always go back to Cheryl Swoops. Only woman to ever have a signature shoe that was retroed, let alone the first one to have a signature shoe. There's only been 9 in league history. Breonna Stewart's gonna be the 10th coming up, so I feel like Nike has a lot more they could do with more retros of the swoop stuff. Cheryl actually works at Nike now and is going to be involved in what they're up to going forward. So I feel like she's going to have kind of a resurgence with her line. And I love all the original swoop stuff. The Zoom swoops were sick, and they only went up to a size 12, which was tough for me. Women's size 12, so I never could get them. But to me, her line was up there with the greats.
She just has a name for sneakers. It's just everything about it is perfect.
Wow, that's 2 back-to-back tough ones. But I'm gonna go Riri.
Yeah, let's go the bagger.
I'm gonna go Riri. And once again,
know
bias
it's
plays a part.
Bias, but
She is perfection personified. All right, cool. So now we're at final one. Jarrell, you best get it together.
pressure's on.
Yeah, you have it.
You're about to get the boot. Best signature logo outside of the Jumpman.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Ken Griffey Jr. One of my favorite athletes of all time. The sweetest swing, and the logo is of that swing, so it's definitely him.
Ash.
I'm gonna go with one of my favorite athletes of all time, the late great, the Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant, and his sheath, as he calls it, and the quote that stands out of my mind. He says, "The sword is the talent, but the sheath is what it's kept in." And it's simple, it's elegant, it just personifies what Kobe Bryant was all about. Didn't have to do much talking. He was just about that action. And when you saw him, you knew what was coming. And I just love that when you see that, it's automatically Kobe Bryant. There's no mistake on who it belongs to.
Definitely the 1 cent logo.
Yeah.
Penny Hardaway's logo. It was funny because he always told Nike, I want a smaller swoosh and I want my logo bigger than the swoosh. And so you always saw that 1 cent like big on the heel or on the side, but I think the 1 cent logo is sick. And it's funny too because his name was so unique. It was kind of goofy. It was Penny, but it was also his number at the time too. And you're seeing it now on all the Memphis gear, which is cool. So to me, that logo has stood the test of time as long as the Jumpman. And whether it's on foam posits or penny twos, it always looks great on shoes.
I'm gonna go Griffey. You stayed on the board. I'm proud of you. I'm gonna go Griffey. Yeah. He's got one of the best looking logos, and it's funny. I'm not a big fan of that sneaker, but I've always appreciated the logo. Okay, great. So we got a tie.
Ooh.
The
It's
pressure
about
is
to go
on.
down.
Final tie-breaking question. Ash, you go first. Which musical artist do you want to get involved more in sneakers?
Ooh, musical artist. I'm actually gonna go with somebody who I was a big fan of when she was at Puma. I'm gonna bring her up again, Rihanna. I just think that, wait, I'm gonna tell you. How's that cheating?
Because you know what he's gonna
I'll tell you this. I was a big fan of Rihanna's collaboration for the past, when she did the 3-year collaboration with Puma. She really kind of changed what Puma was known for, and she was having fashion shows at Paris Fashion Week. I mean, it was incredible. I would love to see her kind of do something like that again. Like you look what Beyonce does with Ivy Park, sells out every single time. Another Adidas collaboration that's doing sensational. I would love to see Rihanna have a line like that again. And I think that she has the fashion knowledge to really make something different than we've ever seen before.
Yep.
Okay. Nick?
I mean, we just saw her with Puma already do that, so.
Yeah, but I feel like it was a different time. The chunky heels aren't a thing anymore, and I think that now that she's even a bigger star, she's a billionaire
It's
now.
not your time to go.
Whatever,
Yeah.
she's a
So
billionaire now.
if we're picking people that have already done it, I'm gonna go with Fat Joe. Because I want to see Terror Squad PEs that Kemba wears in the Garden. I just think the whole Kemba coming back to New York story is amazing. And the Terror Squad forces back in the day were like some of the most coveted ones, and it's been, as crazy as it sounds, like 15 to 20 years for some of those. So I would love to see that come back. I feel like the Knicks got the most energy since the finals days.
We here, baby.
Even though they won one playoff
Don't get
game.
started on the Knicks, please don't.
See, you were like here, and then you just dropped.
I'm wearing purple because the Sacramento Kings are celebrating the Summer League championship. So
It's the only championship y'all will ever see, so I respect it.
So I could get you, I could let you guys have your run
That's
with your
Christmas
one playoff
Day,
game.
Atlanta, we coming for you.
It's gonna be
Just know
great,
that.
and I just feel like the energy back in the Garden's been amazing, even if it was just that one playoff run.
Yep. So,
Shade.
I'm gonna go with a rising star in the rap game, Little Baby. He's been hanging out with James Harden all over the globe, it seems. But I think every other rapper is basically it's taken. Like Kanye has his lane, Travis Scott. Like we need someone like Little Baby, and for the South represent. So.
Do you feel like Lil Baby though has the fashion repertoire to make a shoe like? Because Fat Joe, although he wasn't the most stylish, I mean Terror Squad was iconic. Rihanna is the style queen, but where's Lil Baby fall on that?
I mean, let's build with him. Let a brand
So
take
you
a
talk
chance.
to him. You
let a brand
take
a chance on Little Baby.
Just say it.
I'm
I know
not
you
going
want
to say
to.
Rihanna. I'm not going to say Rihanna. I'm not going to say Rihanna, even though I love you. I'm going Fat Joe.
That's game presented by the NBA, and clearly Nick has the most game out of all of us.
Nick,
Yep.
you gotta tell us what you're wearing on your feet right
Oh
now.
man,
The
I don't
story
know.
behind it.
Yeah, I haven't worn these in a while, but this is it's called the Zoom Flight Club. I helped design these back in 2009.
Ooh, a flex.
And this was a Soul Collector collab that we did. and the heel usually has Nike Air, but they actually put my initials on them, which was kind of cool.
Another flex.
It's the only shoe I have with my initials on them. I'm not trying to flex that
Jarrell,
much,
where your shoes with your initials on
He
it?
don't have it.
I got them. Trust me.
But yeah, but the Flight Club was a combination of Gary Payton's Zoom glove, of the Hyperflight, and the Flight 89. And all three of those shoes were some of my favorites. And growing up in Sacramento, Jason Williams wore the Hyperflights. And so that's why these are purple, to kind of tie back into the Kings as well. So it's a personal favorite of mine and one we did from back in the day.
Jarrell Harris, Nick DePaula, Dakota London. I'm Ashley Nicole Moss. This has been Laces Out, presented by the NBA. Until next time, peace.